English, and I'm so disappointed that that's gone down, because I had hoped that the Damned will be on top of the pops this week, but it's not to be. Welcome, Dave Vanian. How are you?
Good morning, I'm very well.
Looking very stunning, and I'm very envious of your shirt or blouse. Where did you get it from?
What's left of it? Well, Laurie, my wife, made this, actually. Very good, with the old needle and thread.
What's it made out of? Because it looks really old. Can I feel it?
Yeah, feel it, by all means. It's like Terry Wogan's knees, isn't it, in here?
But much nicer. Actually, we were having a very morbid conversation there, because I was asking you if it was true that you were once a gravedigger, and
Which
you said yes.
It certainly was, for about a year and a half, 2 years. I did it because it was in between. It was those times when you're getting a dead-end job, if you pardon the pun. And I was, it was a quiet place to think and decide what to do next, basically. It fitted perfectly, except I used to sing a lot when I was in there, so I used to disturb people now and again. But no one that was actually sleeping at the time, underground, as it were.
Did it ever depress you, or was it ever morbid?
It's funny, it's not like that, because it's the people that go there to visit are usually quite jolly people, Had a few odd experiences, but nothing,
Like what?
Well, the worst one, really, was, there was an old guy that used to come to the graveyard often. We used to see him, and he died, and they had his funeral. It was all very sad, just a few people. And then the week after his funeral, we saw him come to the grave and visit. What we didn't know is all the time we'd been working there, he had a twin brother.
Oh. Oh dear, that shocked me, and I didn't even see him.
He used to maintain that if you put your ear to the grave of his brother, you could hear his pocket watch ticking as well. Very strange.
Did it put you off being buried? I mean, did it sort of make you think that you'd like to be cremated?
No, not really. It didn't put me off. It was okay. It was a good job, good time.
Actually, you were saying before, though, that you'd like to have a memorial stone?
Yeah, I'd like to have a memorial stone where you could, put a few, I don't know, put 5 pence in or something and see a video playback of the band or something. It'd be great. This is how we were when we were alive, folks. And
could you imagine Damned records blaring out over the
I could, actually. That'd be great. Wake a few people up.
So what sort of things were you thinking about? Because you said it gave you time to think and plan on what you wanted to do. What were you thinking of?
Well, it was just what was next, and what was next was starting the band, basically, and getting in the group. And it gave me a lot of time to, because I could do the work early in the morning, knock off, and get into London and do, because it was outside of London, about 40 miles out, and meet people and stuff. It worked very well.
So when was this? What year were you grave digging?
This must have been 75.
And the Damned got together in 77?
76.
76?
Yeah. So it's almost a decade of the Damned now, almost 10 years.
And 11 managers?
Yeah, and numerous record commitments, contracts, you name it, we've gone through it.
Why have you gone through so many things, like a dose of salt?
I think because a lot of people saw the Damned as an easy way of making some fast money and getting out quick, and we were very unlucky in the fact that we decided to go with independence and people that, I don't know, every group's been ripped off at the beginning, though.
Malcolm McLaren managed you, didn't he, before you...
Very briefly for a while, but it was before we were actually the Damned. It was still myself, Rat, and Captain, and it was Chrissy Hine was the guitarist at the time. She wouldn't sing. I kept saying to her, "You got a great voice." She used to go down to underground stations and things, she'd burst out these huge voice singing, and we said, you've got to get in, but she wouldn't. Of course, years later, she became famous with the Pretenders. So it didn't last, the reason we were with Malcolm, one of the reasons was good, because we had cheap rehearsal time in an old church that we never paid for. But we almost were the Sex Pistols.
Really?
The Sex Pistols were almost the Damned. The names were almost changed. Very weird.
How did you end up being the Damned, and how did they end up being the Sex Pistols?
Well, it wasn't so much, it was just that the names were picked at the same times, but they weren't decided upon, Like Brian really picked the name for the band. I never really knew why he picked the Damned, but it did fit after the years of 11 managers, as you say.
And you've never been tempted to change it or anything like that?
No.
Good.
Another lesser-known fact was Sid Vicious was almost the Damned's lead singer, but he didn't turn up for the audition, so he didn't get it.
You're joking. Gosh, things could have been really, really different.
It could have been very strange.
Pop history could have been quite different.
Completely warped, yeah.
I wonder what would have happened had Sid Vicious been singing with the Damned. I mean, would the whole Sex Pistols thing been
Who
the
knows?
Damned thing or what?
Who knows? Who can say? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's have your first piece of music, which is a track by the Rattles called The Witch. Why do you like this?
It's great song. Because it's still quite fresh when you listen to it now. You know, it doesn't sound dated at all. And it's got those manic screams. I'm a sucker for those manic sort of screams and things.
Okay, manic screams.
Strings as well. The strings, listen for the strings.
And the strings and everything else. Rattles and the Witch. We were going to play the album version of that, which was our copy, but you decided that it was a different mix.
Yeah, it definitely is a better sound, this one, from what I heard from the one you played. I didn't even know they had an album, I just remember them for that one single.
Actually, I put it back in text.
They seem to fade into obscurity.
1971. That particular album. All the battles as well. When did you get into music? Because we were just saying now about dance sets and things like that, how good they were, the fact that you could play 7 singles at once.
Yeah, I wish you could do that.
I'd love a dance set.
Did anyone ever make a record on 16, though? They always had that speed.
I don't know.
I don't think they did they?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. So it'd probably be terrible quality as well.
But were you into music when you were at school?
Well, it's funny, because I started off, first brush with music was classical music. Because I remember there was this teacher that used to spout off all these Greek legends, you know, the myths of Orpheus and the underworld and all these things. And he used to always play the Planet Suite. You know, that was my first sort of thing. But my parents were always playing dodgy 50s and 60s things like Freddie Cannon, you know, Way Down Yonder in New Orleans and all those things.
My dad used to sing that when he washed the dishes.
Really? They had a whole pile of 78s as well with these really weird German tangos and things that were great, really good stuff. Yeah, I've always liked music. Apparently when I was in the car, I was always banging things and singing along.
Had you always wanted to be in a band, or was there any other ambition that you had?
No, I was unsure of exactly what I was going to do. I always knew I had to be able to do something that would give me, you know, a certain amount of freedom, free rein to do as much as I could in whatever way. Because I'd really like to do film soundtracks one day. Something we'd like to move into.
Does music actually give you freedom, though? I mean, haven't you got lots and lots of deadlines and things to meet?
Yeah, but it opens a few doors as well, you know, because it's such a sort of, I mean, it's very connected, the movie business and the music business, so that's handy for me, because I've always been a big sort of film fan and stuff. That's why I've picked 2 soundtrack albums on this thing.
What's your favourite all-time movie?
Oh, that's a really difficult one, an all-time movie.
Or do you have favourite actors or actresses?
Yeah, people like, I don't know, anyone, Orson Welles even. I loved Citizen Kane, the music in that's great, the way it's shot. But now the Britain's turning out some good films again. I mean, Company of Wolves was great, a really good film. Take my hat off to them.
Do you ever go to see a movie, though, and because you'd like to do a film soundtrack, do you ever look and listen and think, I wouldn't have done it like that?
I don't know, it depends. It's not so much I wouldn't have done it that way, but you kind of think if I had the chance, you know, what you would do. That's a great thing. Yeah.
This next piece of music is from an album called Christine, the soundtrack to Christine, and it's the Viscounts and Harlem Nocturne. I don't know anything about it.
Well, it's just a really old sort of 60s band. They did quite a lot of things. But this has got a great sax solo, a real sort of sexy, laid-back sax, which is marvellous.
Okay. Yes, that's finished. That's a Viscounts from an album called Christine.
You nearly didn't make it there. Headphones were off.
I can't remember what we were talking about then. Status quo, I think.
No, you weren't. You're talking about the Stranglers, right?
Was I? Something like that. Your next piece of music is from a movie as well, isn't it? Is it from a movie?
I don't know what the next piece of music is.
Oh, sorry, it's
I
Tom
think it's
Jones
Tom
and
Jones.
New Pussycat.
That's right.
It was a movie.
It was a movie,
And
yeah.
an awful movie with
I
lots
thought it was
of women in
great.
it.
It was really good. I had Peter Sellers running around as a mad psychiatrist.
That's right.
And his wife was this sort of Brunhilde figure.
Yeah.
With the horns on her head and stuff. Peter O'Toole. Always.
Seen it?
Yeah, he was the star in it. Always, when he was young, I thought there was a resemblance between him and Captain. If you ever look.
Oh yes.
Yes, we both got big noses.
But Tom Jones, I mean, do you admire his vocal quality or what?
I just think this is a really good song. I mean, it's just a great song, the way he does it. And I thought I'd play this for Brian and Jug, since they're both Welsh.
Okay, Tom Jones, What's New Pussycat?
All right.
What's new, pussycat? Whoa, pussycat, pussycat. No.
Haven't played that for ages. Tom Jones What's New Pussycat? And you were saying that there's a resemblance between Tom Jones and Prince.
I think so, yeah, definitely, in his, in his expressions.
Because you went to see Purple Rain the other night.
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like? You better say it's good, because we're giving three copies of that.
Well, I actually, you know, I mean, Prince gets a lot of slagging, but I actually quite enjoy what he does, because he looks like a man who's enjoying himself, and I think that's good.
There's no doubt about the fact that, he's very, very talented.
Oh, absolutely. And he puts, you know, he puts over a show. He works tremendously hard. I think he puts a lot back into what's been missing in music for a while. And I wouldn't like to see a million Princes, but as one, he's great.
Is it something that you like doing, performing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I don't, Janice, to be honest.
No, I mean, you know, obviously sort of, you know, you're making records.
It's like the icing on the cake,
songs,
really.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Because I love being in the studio and working as well, but it's phenomenal when you're out, and especially if you're in a large hall and you can see that everyone's moving, even at the back, up in the back seats. And it's like a big mess of... And if you've ever been to a Damn concert, it's like a strange thing, you know.
But you still get a thrill out of it after 9 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's different every time, although it sounds like a terrible cliche, that, but it really is.
Tell me about Human Expression.
The Human Expression? Don't know too much about them, except they're lumped together with a million other independent labels, 60s garage bands, you know, like Fane Jade and The Seed, Shadows of Night, all those kind of people. People down at Alice in Wonderland will probably enjoy this song.
And this is?
Love at a Psychedelic Velocity.
A lot of records.
As many as I can, and I don't buy... what I tend to do is spend ages not buying and then have to go out and buy a whole bunch at once, you know. But because a lot of things I like are these dodgy 60s things, it's better to do something like go to America when you're on tour and looking, you know, places like, I don't know, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Chicago, where no one wants the stuff anyway, and you can pick it up for like 99 cents or $1. But you come back with so much luggage, you know, it's so heavy, because you're doing 3 weeks, so you buy all the stuff in the first week, spend all your wages on records, don't eat instead, and then you end up sort of carrying them around for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, I find the odd things though here though. I mean, found Shadows of Night songs in Glasgow and things cheap, because no one knew what they were at the time. But since this big revival thing's happened, and people have rediscovered the garage bands, it put all the prices up, unfortunately.
Do you actually have time though to listen to all of the records that you buy?
There is a few I've put away recently that I haven't heard yet. I do, because I carry the old Walkman around with me and I tape everything and play, because you're always travelling to and from, so then you get a chance to listen, which is good.
Is your collection very organised? I mean, do you file them all away and that sort of stuff?
No, it's not very organised, really. It's more kind of, there's a whole bunch up front of the ones I play the most, and then the rest just get shoved in wherever they are.
Didn't you almost lose a pile once in a flood or something?
Yeah, well, I got flooded 3 times when I used to live in a basement, and they all were floating out the door one day, you know. That's why these sleeves, which I got before me, for people who can't see on the radio, they've got these holes in where they were hung up to dry.
Oh.
Sleeves.
But they survived.
Some of them did, not all of them. Some of them had so filthy things stuck to them that wouldn't even clean off.
A lady with a great voice is Peggy Lee.
Marvellous voice. The great thing about this song is it just, the tempo doesn't slack all the way through. It's really pacey. I mean, when people talk about punk music and things, I think this sticks with that ideal more than anything, you know. It just doesn't let up.
It's the opening that gets me.
Oh, it's great.
Peggy Lee, Lover. I don't think they left anything after that, did they?
Everything's... I think anyone who heard that would have to surrender after hearing that. It's great.
Oh, wonderful.
Lady with a marvellous voice.
Yeah, Peggy Lee and Lover. Working in music, listening to music, do you get time to do anything else at all?
Not a lot, actually, these days. Music pretty much takes up 24 hours of my time now. And it will do for the next 2 years, I'm sure. I'll try and take the band off get them off the ground.
You're in the studios at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, we're just in with a producer called John Kelly, recording a new album, and it's going very well, very well.
You had Bob Sargent for the single, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
So why did you pick another guy for the album?
Well, Bob was just picked basically for that one single thing. He wasn't, you know, it wasn't set for the album. And there's one, we did quite a lot of work with him. It's really co-produced, that one. Whereas John Kelly's in there and producing it. He's very, very good. He's used to working with Paul McCartney and people like that, so Kate Bush and things. It's going very well.
When will the album be ready?
Well, hopefully it'll be released around June, so we're working very fast, obviously, because we've got the tour and, you know, the old schlepping around Europe and America, everything coming up, so that's all looking good, very exciting.
Next piece of music is by John Carpenter, and it's the soundtrack from Halloween, isn't it, the theme?
It's the main theme, yeah, which is, it's great. It's unusual for a film director also write the music, which he seems to do quite a lot. He did it on The Fog and Assault on Precinct 13. So not only is he, I mean, Halloween really started the spate of these new films with, you know, people running around.
Who was in this one? I think I was.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's right. When she was babysitting.
That's right. Yeah. It's a really good film. It started off a lot of imitators that never actually managed to make a film with the same suspense, because you actually get to know these characters instead of, you know, people getting chopped up without you even knowing who they are, so you don't care. But the music especially really lifts it out. There's lots of what they call stingers at the right places. You know, like, it's a lot like Psycho in a way. Because if you watch Psycho without the music, it wouldn't be as good. It's still a good film, but it's the music that builds the suspense and the tension.
I remember seeing this and I was terrified to go to bed.
What, Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. Good film.
Without seeing the pictures, that's spooky, isn't it? That's John Carpenter and the theme from Halloween. You're doing a session for us on Sunday, aren't you?
We certainly are. We're going to give you, I don't know, how many 3 gems are we?
4, please.
4? Good, 4. Great.
I'll crack the wick, crack
the wick.
the wick and demand 4. So when does the tour start?
Well, the tour starts around the 25th, I think, of next month. And that's going to be a 40-date tour taking in all points north of the compass, etc., etc.
In fact, you're touring with a band that we're going to play later, aren't you?
Well, so it seems. We're having the Fast Times with us in a dodgy American band. No, they play a lot of 60s covers, Pebbles, like Love at Psychedelic Velocity, that type of thing.
And the 40 dates, will they all be...
I can see John Peel poking his head around the corner.
What are you doing?
I wanted to know what it was you're going to do to that whip you were talking about just a moment ago. There's something wrong with my radio in the other room. I must have misheard you.
Thank you, John.
That's a complete breakdown at the BBC here while we talk about whips and handcuffs and... Come on, Janice, professional.
The 40 dates to play in this country.
Don't tie me up again, come on. Yes, they are.
Right, okay. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this evening. And this next track, another over-the-top production, a bit like the Peggy Lee and Lover thing. It's Barry Ryan and Eloise.
I think Barry Ryan and Paul Ryan have been sadly forgotten. You know, everyone waxes lyrical about Scott Walker, which I think was marvellous. But I think this is absolutely superb. Great singers. Very strange personality, though. Apparently Paul wrote most of the lyrics and was slightly, towards the end, a bit unhinged. And if you listen to the songs, it comes out. You know, there's a tension in there. It starts off what you think is going to be a pretty song, and it doesn't. It grabs you after a while.
Whose sons were they?
Mary and Ryan, I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because they were quite
They were great,
oh, weren't they?
They'll probably be rediscovered soon, I think.
Well, as I say, it's been a pleasure, Dave. And is it back to the studio now, or what?
Only if you're going to crack the whip again.
I think we shall give up. This is Barry Ryan, Eloise. Cheers.
The sun that made...
Couldn't get any more over the top. That's Barry Ryan, marvellous stuff. And the final choice from Dave Vanian. And once again, thank you very much to him. And that's Eloise.